is the eastern end of Crete, lying beyond the Sitya mountains. It's a good 3-hour drive from the airport, so that might put a lot of people off. And you really do need a car once you get here, and that too is often regarded as a drawback. This is a Crete of rough roads and rougher tracks, where a good map and a few words of Greek are essential. English is rarely spoken. So, okay, this Crete isn't for everyone. Just as well, really, because if it was, it would be as crowded as the west end of the island. Accommodation is usually simple. Take the Marina Village Hotel. We did. Basic, but squeaky clean and comfortable, though with no guarantee of hot water to rinse away the dust of those roads. If you want the self-catering option, there's plenty of choice. Right beside the Koromenos beach, for example. Apartments served by a central taverna for those who don't want to spend too much time in the kitchen. And I've yet to meet anyone on holiday who does. Beside the beaches and straight out of Shirley Valentine, you'll find tavernas by the score. Like the people hereabouts, the cuisine's no nonsense, and they all serve much the same selection of salads, dips, chicken, chips, and meat or fish. Fish is the expensive option, but prices are reasonable. This is Kostas Fragiadakis, a fisherman with the time and the inclination to take me for a trip. After a couple of drinks, we settled on a price for the voyage.
Quite a lot of the Cretan coastline is accessible only by boat, so Christos here has promised to take me round this headland to a little beach that he knows.
Young Andonis gave me a helping hand onto some pretty uninviting rocks.
Thank you, Kostas. 2 hours. Bye-bye.
I was beginning to regret the impulse that had got me marooned on a deserted island. Well, almost deserted.
I'm supposed to be alone. Do you mind, please?
Another day, another boat, another place. Moklos, on the north coast of eastern Crete. There are Minoan tombs here. The Minoans were around from 3000 BC, and about 1500 BC, a huge tidal wave engulfed their civilization. About 50 years after that, many other sites were abandoned and burned. Archaeologists are still trying to trowel up the truth of what happened, but one thing's for sure, the Minoans had rotten luck.
Talking of rotten luck, this site at Zakros, which is over on the east coast of the island, was abandoned overnight and totally destroyed by fire around about 1450 BC. What was going on here then?
There are over 1,000 gorges on Crete, of which by far the best known is Samaria, but this isn't it. Close by Zakros is Dead Man's Gorge. I was told they call it that because the dead were buried in the caves here. It takes about 3 hours to walk from one end to the other, but as there's no way out, you have to walk back again. There are ambitious plans for an airport at this end of the island. Nothing may come of it, but if it's built near Sitya or Ierapetra, you can kiss goodbye to all this. On this end of Crete, you travel where the fancy takes you, over back roads and byways. Above all, don't be in a hurry, because this Crete moves at its own pace and you must walk in slow step with it. You'll find yourself in villages and among people that have so far been untainted by tourism, and this surely is what you've come to find. This church, carved into the rock near the village of Pefka, is known as St. George the Drunkard. Now, apparently what happens is that once a year people come here from all over the region with the new season's wine. After a service, they then undergo the ritual of tasting and comparing. Well, that develops into a heavy drinking session, and they all crawl home the following day with a hangover. It's a sort of harvest festival with a difference. Our visit coincided with the harvesting of grapes. On our travels, we saw donkeys and battered vans collecting and carrying them off to villages like Sitanos, where they make wine the old way. If you were thinking of giving up drinking, by the way, this might help. Believe it or not, the mush that's left over from that treading has a further use. Pitched into a homemade still, it produces raki. The manufacturing process is a great excuse for a party.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our journey together through this creek that has no crowds, and that maybe as a result, some of you might consider taking a holiday here. But only some of you. Too many visitors would completely destroy the unspoiled nature of this creek beyond the mountains, where that holiday dream can become a reality, here on the far side.
Two weeks' bed and breakfast in the Hotel Marina Village costs from £530 per person based on 2 sharing. It includes flights, transfers and 2 weeks car hire. The operator is simply Crete. A 2-bedroom self-contained apartment for 6 people on the Costa Brava costs from £39 per person for 7 nights between May and October. That includes ferry crossing with hover speed for a car and 4 people. Short breaks in early spring and autumn cost as little as £8.50 per person if 7 people share a modern, fully equipped caravan. The deals are available at 47 self-catering holiday parks in the UK, and the price includes entertainment, sports and activities. If you have something special to celebrate, you can rent a selection of magnificent houses around the country from as little as £25 per person for a 3-day break. If you're planning a wedding reception, a special birthday or a reunion with friends with full, partial or self-catering, this could be the answer.
Skegness, or Skeggy as it's affectionately known, is the resort that everyone's heard of, but not everyone knows where it is. This very British institution spreads along the flat Lincolnshire coast, just north of the Wash. But this is one of the earliest and one of the most famous holiday posters of all time. Skegness has been using the Jolly Fisherman mascot since 1908, when he was painted for the Great Northern Railway. His sprightly, skipping figure is everywhere, even in lights. Mr. Mayor, can I have a look at your chain?
Certainly. It depicts the Jolly Fisherman on the Jewel of Office of the Skegness Town Council.
Skegness was purpose-built as a resort a century ago, and today it's proud of its much-coveted European blue flag, the top award for clean beaches and pure water. Some 7 to 8 tons of rubbish are cleared each day, the debris of holidaymakers. Even on a hot summer's afternoon, the east wind is bracing. Many thousands still come for simple seaside pleasures, placing it in the top half-dozen most popular British resorts. Skeggy has long been fodder for comedians' banter, so who better to ask about its success than a man who's played most of Britain's seaside theatres, my old friend Ken Dodd.
This is a most marvellous place, Skegness, for the family, because they've got miles and miles and miles of golden sand. Lovely. There's enough sand here. It's the centre of the British egg-timer industry. There's enough sand here for every family in Great Britain.
And enough caravans, some 22,000 all told, to swell a resident population of 17,000 to that of a medium-sized town in summer. It's the world's largest concentration of caravans, and some sites have leisure activities laid on. On top of that, there's well over 100 guest houses and hotels, mostly family-run and none very big. On the seafront, Natureland mixes all sorts of different animals, from crocodiles and tame turkeys to rare birds and butterflies. But it's in a hospital for baby seals, washed up on the North Sea tide, that you find the show stealers.
Oh, I nearly went in with it. Hang on, come here, come here. Oh, no!
She wanted it all in one go. There's plenty else for children to enjoy, much of it undercover, something that reassures all parents with an anxious eye on our temperamental weather. Stock car racing. Not really my cup of tea, I thought, but it turned out to be great fun. And on some days you can take lessons. no prizes for guessing Skeggy's favourite dinner before a night out on the town.
There you are then.
Oh, it's great. Lots of salt and vinegar.
Makes it taste all the better.
Wow, it looks very good, I must say. This is how long you can stay on the beach today without your skin being protected, 30 minutes. But of course we can't always guarantee sunshine like this in Britain, can we? After the break I shall be somewhere where the weather doesn't really matter. That's a new concept in family fun. And a night at the opera for June Whitfield and her husband Tim in Italy.
Friskies Go-Cat Nuggets contain herring for muscle tone, tuna for good eyesight, and vegetables to complete the meal. Friskies Go-Cat.
For a limited time only, Mars is going dark. Thick, dark chocolate, caramel, and creamy white nougat. Mars Dark.
This is Her Majesty's Treasury. It's a very exclusive place. I had to disguise myself as some money just to get in. National Savings is backed by the Treasury, so it's the only financial organisation that can guarantee unique, inflation-proof, tax-free investments. Because you won't find a Her Majesty's Treasury in your local shopping centre, National Savings have set up shop in 5 papers, the same place, on the same days, week in, week out. So you can see what's new and invest in your own time. Now I'll just sneak out before I end up as someone's premium bomb winnings. Which way was it? I think it was this way, wasn't it?
There's an ancient game called Jumanji.
Just give me the dice.
That has a life of its own.
It's a stampede!
Because once you've started, there's no stopping it. Robin Williams. Jumanji. It's a jungle in there.
If you'd rather spend your money on your car than your car insurance, give Eagle Star Direct a call on 0800 333 800 and we could help you drive down the cost of your insurance.
Brian Johnson, award-winning architect.
The quality of the wine and champagne and everything is first class.
Kavita Chowdhury, award-winning filmmaker.
I like a bit of dialogue at 35,000 feet.
And Henry Coe, award-winning textile producer.
The Dino is fantastic.
These people have something in common. They fly Emirates, the award-winning airline.
Well, whatever the weather here in Skegness, and on this August morning it's cooler and cloudier than it has been, there's quite a bit of undercover entertainment. This is the latest. Fantasy Island is 3 miles from the centre of Skegness in Inglemells. There are more than 40 rides and attractions, including one that you won't find anywhere else in Europe.
Enjoy yourself! Hey, what are you doing?
The IMAX ride film simulator plunges you into a spooky underground world of giant clowns.
Here comes the big one!
Most people stay in caravans, like the Joyce family. How are their children getting on?
There's plenty to do. They're kept on the go, which makes them happy, which makes us happy, and we have a great time.
There's Fantasy Island itself. The kids can spend the full day there. There's the club on site with entertainment all day and all night. You can pop in if you want to, you know.
Do you pay for that?
No, it's free. free entertainment. There's plenty of shopping. You know, the market, for me. Have a wander around. It's really good.
The razzmatazz of the coast seems to emphasise the tranquility of the wide Lincolnshire landscape. Its very flatness has written it into history. In World War II, the county had 29 airfields. This hotel was the officers' mess for several squadrons, including 617, better known as the Dam Busters. There's a memorial to them in the small town of Woodall Spa. The Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre is Harold and Fred Panton's memorial to their brother, a flight engineer in a Lancaster bomber shot down over Nuremberg in 1944. The restored control tower recaptures precisely the wartime atmosphere. And on certain days, the Lancaster's throaty engines rasp into life. But sooner or later, breezy Skegness tugs you back to the sea, the sun, and all the fun.
Nightclubs are brilliant because there's loads of dance music and it's only £1 to get in.
Beer's okay, food's okay, hotels are okay. I think it's real.
Unlike some other British seaside resorts, Skegness has never lost its appeal. Over half the people who come here on holiday return year after year. And the reason they come back, they tell me, is because of the low prices and because of the wide range of entertainment for all members of the family. It's a no-nonsense place. You get what you see. A caravan at Fantasy Island, sleeping up to 8 people, costs from £75 to £290 per week, depending on the time of the year. The operator, Blue Anchor Leisure. The scenery alone can be described as absolutely fabulous. But to top that, we welcome guest presenter June Whitfield and her husband Tim. They flew to Verona, and then there was a 90-minute drive to Gardone Riviera on Lake Garda, the largest of Italy's northern lakes.
Lots of people end their holidays with the most beautiful sunset, but we're starting ours with one. Tim and I have just arrived on this beautiful Lake Garda, and we've got on this little ferry that goes between links all the little villages and towns and things, and we intend to see as much as we can, don't we, darling? Oh, you've got the map?
I've got the map
now,
here.
Where are we off to?
We're going to start exploring very soon.
Do you like my hat?
Love it.
Attractive, isn't it? The first thing you notice is that all the lakeside towns blend in so well with the scenery. No modern buildings to spoil the setting. Holidays here are fairly relaxed, but there are all sorts of water sports at the northern end of the lake. This is much more our scene. Oh, what a lovely way to spend a morning. You enjoying this?
Yeah, lovely.
Limone is a charming resort with its own history and enough going on to keep you occupied, though it's certainly crowded in the season. Hotels here are mostly on the small side and family run, like this one overlooking the water. Nearly all the lakeside towns have their weekly market, and you need a lora lira to go shopping in Italy. 43,000 in my case.
Sounds an awful lot, doesn't
Well, that's not too bad.
How much is it?
It's only about 17 quid.
Well, that's very good. 17 quid and it's leather.
Italian style is very, very nice.
Wonderful.
Most resorts have developed slowly from old villages, but Gardone Riviera only dates back to the end of the last century. It was purpose-built for well-heeled visitors, and there's still a fashionable feel about the place.
Along with the mild winter climate, the Grand was originally the main attraction, an hotel that really lives up to its name. It's restrained, dignified, and expensive. So if you stay here, make sure you get a room with a view. The hotel is still one of the best equipped on the lake. This has to be the strangest house I've ever seen. Vittoriale, the home of Gabriele D'Annunzio, poet and patriot. Bit spooky. Above his bedroom door, the inscription, "To genius and to pleasure." On his dining table, a warning to guests, a stuffed tortoise that died from overeating. Oh, dear.
The nearest big city is Verona. A city famous, among many things, for the setting of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, and the most photographed balcony in the world.
I couldn't resist it. Tim, Tim, wherefore art thou Tim? No, it's not the same, is it?
Come on, are you coming down?
There goes the magic. Well, balconies apart, the wonderful thing about Verona is that its historic centre has changed little down the centuries. It's no museum piece, but a modern, vibrant city. On the terrace of Verona's oldest cafe, we discuss the evening ahead.
Pharaoh priest. My Joe.
The Roman arena is the magnificent setting for the summer season of grand operas. Long before the evening performances, the huge crowds are already milling round the amphitheatre in a mood of eager anticipation. The Italians are quite obsessive about their opera. This arena is the largest open-air theatre in the world, where gladiators fought wild animals 2,000 years ago. 20,000 people will watch tonight's spectacular performance of Verdi's Aida.
Some say we hear the best sound from the stone steps, but the stall seats are more comfortable but do hard a cushion. The lighted candles create a spectacular display.
The aptly named Verona is one of many boats linking resorts on Lake Garda. The hydrofoil is quicker, but I prefer the older ferries, as you can go on deck. There are no cruises on the lake, sadly. It is a ferry service, so no candlelight dinners.
You certainly eat very well here, and meals needn't be expensive. There's lots of fresh pasta and fish straight from the lake, and the local wine is delicious.
That was a really magnificent meal. The diet starts tomorrow. We've really enjoyed our trip to Lake Garda, haven't we, Tim?
Especially the trips on the ferries. We've seen so much.
Yes, it's really a very stylish place and the most magnificent views. But the highlight of our trip must have been our visit to the opera in Verona, in that wonderful arena. We enjoyed it so much, we went back to see Turandot.
Nights at the Grand Hotel cost from £431 to £584, including half-board accommodation and return flights. That's with Thompson Lakes and Mountains.
I wish I was under the Glasshouse Mountains in Australia's Queensland, because as the temperature goes, it suits me totally. You know, my old bones don't ache out there, and I like the people, because they're noisy like me. I wish I was there.
You could be there, or on one of our specially selected dream holidays like previous winner Gina Warrender. A holiday that could be valued up to £10,000 in this week's competition. Just answer this question. In which sea is Crete? A, the Mediterranean, or B, the Caribbean? All you have to do is call 0891 20 10 20. That's 0891 20 10 20. And lines are open until midnight on Tuesday. On our next programme, I join a coach holiday in France. John Carter is walking the Cotswold Way. And Anna Walker rides out in Texas.
In Tokyo, it's advisable to give way to pedestrians. Another travel tip from Seat Cars.
Information's available from Wish You Were Here, sponsored by Seat Cars. For a fact sheet produced in association with Teletext on ITV and Channel 4, send a large stamped addressed envelope to Wish You Were Here Fact Sheet 10, P.O. Box 50, Bromley, BR29TT. Or for a fact sheet summary and this week's competition question, turn to Teletext on ITV page 261.
Nancy.
Her name's Hannah. She's yours.
Catherine Cookson's The Girl, Friday at 9 on Granada.
Vera and Maud try to make contact in Coronation Street next.
Let's go!
0345 300 111 over.
God, it cooked a beef for 90 minutes, sprouts for 10, and peas for 5. And be nice to Grandad.
How would you make Yorkshire pudding?
I don't know. Look it up.
Aunt Bessie's in the freezer.
Aunt Bessie's Yorkshire puddings. Pop them in the oven and they rise perfectly every time. Light, crispy and golden brown.
They're as good as yours, these Yorkshires.
Not like this.
Aunt Bessie's Yorkshire puddings always rise to the occasion.
Almost every time you eat, your teeth are attacked by plaque acid. So in theory, the best thing is to brush after every meal and snack. In practice, when that's not possible, you can chew, because chewing Orbit, or Wrigley's Extra, produces more of your mouth's natural defense, saliva, which, as your dentist will tell you, helps neutralize plaque acid fast and strengthen teeth against decay throughout the day. So whenever you eat, chew.
The minute we looked through the door, we could tell you were a real slow baker. A loaf of distinction. Good looking, so refined. It's soft up, delighted because you've had time inside. Now let us get right to the point. There's no hurrying the baking that we do. Slow baked King's Milk. Can I have a taste of you?
It's not run of the mill, it's King's Mill.
Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the
Le crime a eu lieu à 9h. Vous avez arrêté l'accusé à
9h30.
Il conduisait une voiture ordinaire.
Ordinaire.
50 km sur une route de montagne en 30 minutes. Je ne crois pas.
Non coupable.
Une voiture ordinaire.
Recently separated working mum seeks new love.
I'm James.
You'll have to excuse me, I'm afraid I'm a little below par.
No, I can't babysit tomorrow night.
Must be more reliable than the ex.
You never mention your kid's father.
Oh, they haven't got one. I found him in a phone box.
Who's James?
Mum's friend. He lives in the wilderness.
A sense of humour and commitment absolutely essential.
Stay.
I can't.
For true love, coming soon on Granada.
Arsenal v Aston Villa live in half an hour on Granada, but first Coronation Street.
definitely more.